Hello. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Let's see if we're live. Oh, we are live.
Are we live?
Yay, we are live.
That's a good
So
start, I suppose, isn't it?
it is a good start. So this is wonderful. I am so grateful to have my lord, sir, or Richie,
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me on your channel again.
of Longman Tarot fame. So, and we're sort of having a casual conversation about theater ghosts and our theater experience. Yes. So,
Yes.
and this is a conversation we started. What was it? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think so. We're just talking about it in a casual kind of way, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then we decided this needed further exploration and further needed its own live.
Yes. And so, all right. Oh, look, and okay, so let's say hello to people. We have the lovely Zane of Tarot, Toke, and Witchery.
Hi, Jane.
Deanne from Blue Crescent Tarot she's in the car, but she's listening.
Oh, hi, Deanne, then. I'll say that loudly so she can hear it.
We have Kim, Moon Whisperer. Hello.
Hi, Kim.
Sandra from the Whispering Well. Some guy who I should probably block, Longman Tarot.
Looks like trouble to me.
Looks like trouble. Oh, quickly followed by the Hermit Mage. I have no idea what's
trouble.
up with that. Yeah, he is trouble. So, Debbie, Aquarius Owl, is here. So, hello.
Hello.
And chat just jumped. So, everybody's saying hi. Jamie from Wandering Mountain Bardic Path has accused me of being an overachiever.
Really?
I've even got the tag to show it. So, oh look, and oh, Justin's here.
Hi, JM.
So, you're calling him JM now?
Yeah, Friday I decided I was going to call him JM. Someone said it sounded like a brand of clothing, so I'm going to keep that.
JM. Ooh,
JM.
JM.
JM. I'm wearing JM.
Yes. What are you wearing? I only wear JM close to my skin. I don't know. I mean, sorry, Justin.
We started already. We're only 3 minutes in.
We have. Oh, and Jilly is here. Hello, Jilly. Hi, hello. So, let's talk about our theater experience.
Okay.
So, tell us about your theater experience again, Richard.
So I've always been into theater and always done, even when I was a kid, sort of dressing up, pantomimes and amateur dramatics, sort of local amateur groups. And then I went off to university and studied theatre and film at Reading for 3 years. Past that, and then I was planning to stay in Reading and continue to do some work there, but my money completely ran out, so I had to return home to the bank of mum and dad. Where I was really fortunate because I live, as you know, on the south coast in Eastbourne, and sort of within a month of coming back home, I got a job in the local theatres, working backstage. And from that, I was a casual member of crew, just putting the sets up and sometimes, operating and moving scenery and stuff during the shows. But normally it was just when the set arrived and then taking it down at the end of it, which was very good money, actually, and kept me tidied over. And then I kind of got involved with working front of house and with the public. And then eventually I got made theatre manager And Eastbourne, as I'm going to probably tell you in a little bit more detail, has got several theatres. So I was working not just in one, I was working in, I think, 3 different venues that I was kind of with. And I did that for a long, long period of time, until I kind of just had enough of it. I had enough of working every weekend, because also in Eastbourne, it's a big conference town as well. So you go to join the theatre, and then you find out that you're babysitting a conference dance till 2 o'clock in the morning. The novelty wears off after a while on that one.
Yeah.
So I decided I'd had enough of it, and after probably about 8-9 years, I chucked it all in and went and found a new trade. So,
okay,
but I still carried on directing for the amateur groups and getting involved with that, and I often did, as I say, we've done Shakespeare, we've done all sorts of modern plays, and I'm also a member of the Eastbourne Gilbert and Sullivan Society, where we always put on annual productions. I haven't done it for a little while, but I've been directed pretty much most of the Gilbert and Sullivan operas or operettas.
Wow,
so,
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So we've had a few more people pop in. Antoinette is here. Hello.
Hello.
Deanne has said backstage is such a magical place.
Oh, it's where the magic happens.
Twilight. Yeah, I have worked backstage. I've done a lot of, bless you. I got called in, well, in high school I did theater, but as an adult, I helped with the children's theater, where I was creating props, and then I was running the show, which for anybody who has never done theater, you never want to piss a stagehand off.
No.
You never want to touch a prop that is not yours, because if it gets broken, you're dead. I mean, essentially. You
might want to touch a stagehand, though.
And yes. So,
they're a friendly bunch.
We are a friendly bunch, especially when you do what we tell you to do. And when we say get out of the way, we mean get out of the way for a reason.
Yeah.
So Debbie just finished listening to Terry Pratchett,
Masquerade,
a disco book.
Brilliant. I think I read that a long time ago. I can't remember much about it, but
so
it's fun.
Yeah, and Sandra thinks that sounds good. So Justin wants to know, is that the guy who sings Alone Again?
No, that's Gilbert. What's his name? Gilbert and Sullivan were 2 Victorian comic opera writers, and they wrote things like Pirates of Penzance, and The Mikado is probably their most famous work. But there's a huge canon, and it's particularly popular in America, in the UK, and Australia is really, really popular as well. And there's always touring productions, and actually they were called the Savoy Operas because of the Savoy Hotel in London, which had a purpose-built theatre that they used to put the operas on in. So, but there was another singer called Gilbert O'Sullivan. I think that could be the one you're thinking of.
Justin says, damn, take my gay card away.
We could never do that.
Yeah. That's a whole different live, but
it's like a stick of rock goes through him.
Well, this sounds like a good time, as any to show you the new, to show you my wand. Would you like to see my wand?
Of course, whip it out. Now, in my head, I had a wooden, kind of Harry Potter, but then, of course, that's a lovely thing.
Isn't that wand?
There's so much going on in that. Ooh. You should put a warning on in case anybody's light sensitive.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
No, that's beautiful. Does it? Oh. Words fail me again, Gerald, really.
So, and Sandra says her niece has one like this. I actually think it is associated with the, Jamie's like going, Gerald, I need that.
Yeah. I think we all need one. Brighten our day up.
Sandra says my niece has one like that. Richard,
I have got a woody wand, actually. It's on the floor. The cat plays with it.
Okay. So your pussy plays with your wand. That's
Yeah,
good.
okay,
That's
yeah.
good.
Well,
But I saw this for those of us in America, I saw this at a Cracker Barrel because we stopped to go to the restroom on the trip. And Jilly is like going, words fail me.
I know.
So yeah. So, but
And
I
yet we're
saw
not
this.
surprised.
I saw this, and I'm like, going, yeah, I have to. So,
Does it have different
Justin,
settings?
it just has one setting. You press the button, and it goes through different things.
Oh, no
So,
Bluetooth.
yeah, well, I don't know.
It's
So
magical.
yeah, so far removed from my light up skull and Halloween flames. So my niece got hers at a fireworks display. So
Mm.
Justin, we will not remove your gay card. You
No.
know, you have always had the power to be gay, Justin. It's
A lifelong
okay.
member.
You know, just click your heels together. It's okay. So, all right. So Jackie's here. Hello,
Hi,
Jackie.
Jackie.
And so we both like theater. We do some
Yeah.
theater stuff. And so Richard, what are some of the superstitions you are aware of?
I'm actually, I have to say, I'm not superstitious when it comes to the theatre. I'm dreadfully superstitious with everything else, but I'm not
Okay.
when it comes to the theatre. And I've done a bit of research as to what I found out why some of these superstitions came around. The M word, the Scottish play, is possibly the one. And I have to say, I probably wouldn't utter those words in a theatre
Yes.
unless I was actually in the play itself.
Oh yeah, you would have to.
Yeah, you know, there's crazy ones like not having live flowers on stage, and that just makes sense because if you've got a long run of a production, the flowers are just going to wilt and die. Particularly, you know, by the end of the performance, they're going to look rubbish.
Yeah.
Wearing green is apparently a very unlucky thing in the theatre, but that just goes back to the lights, literally the limelight, the line they used to put in the lights would make all my cat's about to walk in front of your camera. Hopefully,
Oh look! Well, hello.
Come on. Oh, yeah.
He's been eclipsed, everybody.
I thought it might have turned the camera off then. Yeah. So yeah, the limelight basically makes the green go a very odd color. You kind of look like you're glowing like a ghost, really. So so things like that. Whistling, people are a bit funny about whistling in the dressing rooms. But what's interesting, I think most the actors that I came across in the years that I worked there, and some of them were, you know, quite famous actors that have been around for a very long time. They all came with their own set of superstitions and stories and anecdotes. But I never really bought into that too much. What about you? Did you have any?
I didn't per se have hi Nancy. Nancy from Paper Moon Tarot is here.
Yeah, my cat's really fed up now. He's gone off in a huff.
I don't particularly have any, but being backstage where I was the backstage manager, I paid very close attention to what the actors were paying attention to, because being an actor is frightening enough, and then to have somebody do something just to upset you or to make it weird for you is just not fair. I mean, to me. So I paid very close attention to that. Now, I did have, personally, I had a ritual of things that I would do when I arrived to get the theater ready.
Yeah.
But so it's not really a ritual. It's not a superstition, but it's a ritual because, you know, you've worked backstage. Anybody who has ever worked backstage, if you do something out of order, you have to start all over again.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't
all
know
you need
that,
to do is miss out one thing, and yeah, you have to go back to the square, because it could be something like you'll go, I've missed something out, and it could be something like you haven't changed the batteries in the microphone pack,
right,
which is going to be a bit of a balls up when it comes to trying to mic someone. So yeah,
yeah, and I appreciate the actors who understand what you're doing, and they have to ask you a very serious question because they need it. But
yeah,
when I go like this and they
yeah,
stop, they get it.
yeah, yeah,
Because guess what, and this is maybe where I got my, it has helped my love of pencils, is because we all have a checklist, and I'm doing that
yeah,
checklist for every single performance. So
yeah.
but there are sometimes, so let's bring that into superstitions, where I have looked for something, it was there, I know I am the only person on stage right,
Yeah.
and then I walk past it and it's not there.
Yeah.
That has happened to me before, and um, I have actually said, I appreciate this. You can toy with me, but not the props.
Yeah.
And they've done things like that
Yeah.
where I actually had a headlamp that I would wear, Richard, because that way I could look down. It was very direct. It wouldn't light, but then people would, and then that would go off.
Yeah.
That would not work, or it would turn on and shit, like stuff like that.
Yeah. Batteries and things do very strange things in the theatre. It's like the energy drains out of it. And actually, I mean, if you watch some of these TV ghost hunting, programs, let's face it, there's quite a lot around at the moment. Quite often they'll have their batteries drained on the camera like that,
Yeah.
which will be charged. And it's a bit strange that happens, which is again why in the theatre for long run you change the batteries over every show. So it's not like, oh, I've just put some batteries in today. Each show will have a different battery pack in the microphone, just to make sure that it's not going to drain for whatever reason.
And have you ever noticed that certain actors drain batteries more than others?
Yeah.
I've noticed that too. It's like, Nancy has said I worked in repertory theater myself.
Wow.
Trinity Square, Boston, Rep Stage West. Fun to hear us discuss this. So
good. It's nice to talk about it, because I haven't done it for a long time, well, probably for about 6-7 years, and I do miss it, because I think once you've been involved in the theatre, whatever format that is, front of house, backstage, directing, performing, whatever, it's in your bones. It's impossible to not want to. You just miss it when you can't do it. So
right. So just so that everybody knows, Deanne is driving, so she's not ignoring anyone. So,
drive carefully.
Yes, drive carefully. So, so superstitions, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Scottish play that must never be named.
Whistling is quite an interesting one, because a lot of actors still today won't allow whistling on stage, or they will not have whistling in the dressing rooms, which is again something you don't do as a vocal warm-up. So and that goes back again to safety procedures in Victorian times, because they would call the scenery and they'd fly it in by whistling. So what you don't want to do is have a group of people or someone prattling about whistling. Someone might literally drop a house on you. So yeah.
And that's something, if you've never had the pleasure and the thrill of being backstage during a live performance, what you see on stage may be truly incredible, but what's happening backstage is just freaky awesome.
Yeah. And the way that over a series of runs it gets slicker and it becomes a really well-oiled machine. I remember there was one, I was in my first pantomime actually when I finished university. It was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and at the end of, I can't remember, coming out to the end of Act 1, they had a front cloth come in and we had to assemble these trucks to make Snow White's cottage indoors. So it had 2 levels with beds and all that, and that was incredible to do because it was really tight. You know, had some actor singing a song, a love song to Snow White or whatever in front, and you literally had 3 minutes to get this thing moved on, but all the other scenery stripped, this moved on, bolted together safely so that it wouldn't slide. Because I don't know about you, but we have a lot of Victorian stages in the UK that have a slope stage, a rake.
Yep.
It's not flat. So as you probably know, if you've ever worked on it, they're not kind to you, because anything that will roll will start to roll forward at the most inopportunity times. And there has been a few times I've been hanging on to the back of things to stop them ending up in the orchestra.
Oh my gosh. Yes. There are times when it's like something where it didn't go quite correctly, and the only way to keep it from falling is you have a stagehand sit there and hold it and try not to move the scenery, so you don't see the scenery shake, and at the same time staying out of the way for the actors who are around.
Oh, I can tell a story. I'll tell you what, it's going to be an anecdote night, so I'll tell you this one. That we had a production of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe down, which was a really good one.
I've done that one twice.
Yeah, everyone's done it. And there was a bit where they had a kind of life-size wardrobe, and they didn't have kids as the actors. They had kind of young actors in it. So. And of course, there's 4 in the story, aren't there? There's 4 children that pile into this. So there was me, another technical guy who had a smoke machine because of, you know, because when they opened the wardrobe door, a puff of smoke was supposed to come out. And they hadn't rehearsed it before on a rake stage. So they all pile into this wardrobe on wheels right downstage. We're holding onto the back of it. And not only are they coming in, they're going to also have to exit through the back past us to get into the next scene. It was just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Oh my God. Okay, so Nancy, I have pictures for when Richie tells us about the haunted theater experience. Antoinette is going fascinating facts, and Noise is off.
Noise is off. Yeah, absolutely. If you've ever seen Noise is Off,
absolutely,
that's the theatre. It literally is that. I've done dumb shows to people going, you know, across the stage at people like that, like the act 2 in Noise is Off. It's brilliant.
And Debbie says it's so funny. All of these superstitions we're talking about were explained in Masquerade, and I'm writing that down, Debbie. Thank you. And do you know the answer to Jilly's question? Where does break a leg come from?
Yes, I do. I'm just trying to remember it. It's got nothing to do with your legs, because a leg is in the theatre. They use a lot of unusual words to represent bits of scenery. So a leg is actually a curtain. So often you have on a proscenium arch, you'll have curtains that are often black, or you'll have like the curtain at the front, and that's called a leg for some strange reason. I don't know why. So to break a leg means to put the brake on the curtain coming in. So you've done so well that the curtain's going in and out for the applause. So you have to put the brake on it because you've done so well. Does that make sense?
It really does. And Jilly said
that's what I heard. That's what I heard.
It has nothing to do with
no
legs. Yeah. And
so they have things like legs are curtains, and long curtains like blackout curtains, and safety curtains are called irons for some strange reason. So you don't have to refer to the safety curtain that comes in. It's called the iron because it's made of metal.
Yeah. And it's really, I think backstage is a magical experience. I would much rather do backstage than be on the boards myself.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
Especially because from backstage perspective, I had, you know, we have the script that has all of the prompts, all of, you know, when to call someone, where the props are supposed to be, and all that stuff, so that we don't have to do anything. So Jilly,
have you ever? Oh, you're very welcome. Have you ever called a show, been on the corner to call it?
I have not.
I've done it once, and well, it's good fun, and it's a huge sense of relief. But oh my goodness, the pressure! It's like unbelievable.
I was, I've been very fortunate to. My friend Nancy, who got me into helping with the theater, asked me to teach the women in Little Women to knit. So I taught her how to do that, and then I did. I think it was The Magician's Nephew, not The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
So I did props with that, and then I ran backstage. But she surrounded her. She was a really smart director. She surrounded herself by stage people. The stage manager, backstage, and the lights and the sound people, who we could tell what each other were thinking before the other one would say it, and we were ready. So it was absolutely.
It's interesting how that teamwork almost kicks in with intuition and being able to read someone and know when someone wants your attention and not making a noise. So like I said, you can be one side of the stage and someone, to say something like their battery pack's hanging out their pants or something like that, and they're trying to get your attention, and you instantly know what's going on.
Yeah. And it's wonderful to where I would hear Chrissy in the headphones. She would say something like stage right. And I would just go over there and I'm like, oh, got it. Okay. So-and-so so-and-so was exiting stage late and all that stuff. So, all right.
I mean, that's the other interesting thing. You've got to think constantly because everything's round the wrong way. So, stage right is actually the other way around, and you have upstage and you have downstage, and it's it takes a little while to get into it. Someone goes, go and get that thing from upstage, will you? And it's like, what on the first day? And then it's like,
go upstage, and it's like, oh no, I meant the other direction. Oh, you mean downstage? And they call it upstage and downstage because upstage and because
you actually go upstage to it because of the rake.
That's the back of the stage, and this is
the
down.
Upstaging would have been the people that are standing high up at the back, drawing the attention away from the people, the main actors, the turns down the front, and they might be, I don't know, messing about or overacting or something. So they're at the back in the chorus, but their behavior is making them upstage the actors of what's going of the main thing.
Okay, you heard it here first, people. Upstaging. There you go. So let's start. Okay, so you have, so there's ghosts that often inhabit theaters. I can take a stab at why, and I think it's because there's so many people having so many emotions in a closed space that is empty a lot of the time. And it's just a great place for all of the energy to reside. And for those of you who don't know, there is always, when you're in a theater, you always have the ghost light. And it's basically, you have a lamp with a light bulb on it that is it's always on. And I think it's for a very practical reason, is because theaters, they don't have any light. And if there's no lights on,
there's no daylight coming in either. There's no windows anywhere.
So we just called it the ghost light.
I don't know if you noticed, during the lockdown of the theaters, there was a lot of photos published of big theaters in London and across with their ghost light on, saying, we will be back.
Oh, that's good.
And we had one light bulb on stage. So
Dan said, plus that liminal space of backstage, ghosts are attracted to that wavelength and low light.
But what you said was absolutely right. You can have a play like a comedy when everyone's roaring with laughter, and that's that big positive energy, and you can feel it. You can walk in to the auditorium when that show's going on, and that energy hits you, and it's quite often a warm energy. Do a tragedy or do something really sad, and again, it's that whole community inside having the same feeling emotions.
Yes.
Which is why something like, I don't know if you've seen The Woman in Black, it's toured a lot here. It's the ghost story that
I don't think, no, I don't I
but
have
it's been running in the West End here for years. It's a very clever production because there's only 2 actors in it, but again, it works on that whole sucking in the tension.
yeah.
But that has to go somewhere, and I don't believe it just dissipates once you open the doors and let everyone out at the end of the day or the end of the night.
Nancy also has said the truth. Plus, without a lie, if you walk across a dark stage full of furniture, you
Yeah.
fall on your ass. Yes.
Yeah.
Not like I've ever done that.
Oh, I've done that a few times.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Furniture on the stage, I swear that sometimes moves when you're least expecting it. I'm always a dab hand when I was acting of getting my foot caught under a sofa and kind of go flailing about.
Yeah. Yeah. Deanne said a few years ago I was in a piece called Ghost Light. It was beautiful.
Oh yes, that's a good. That's good.
And Sandra said I would have loved to see the Woman in Black.
It's much better than the film. So much better.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Live theater is so is so emotional just because you have that. You know, you are in the same space. So
yeah.
So
it's a sharing thing, isn't it?
It is a sharing thing. It is a sharing thing, and especially I'm a good person to do that. I can suspend my disbelief. I can forget everything, and so
yeah. I mean, my friend and I, and Peter, we tend to go to Stratford upon Avon. We have done sort of 2 or 3 times a year to go to the RSC there and see their fantastic shows. And, you know, they've got a wonderful setup there of their stages. They're on 3 sides, so it's a thrust stage. So you watch the audience as much as you watch the show that's going on.
Yeah.
And we spend hours afterwards discussing it and chewing it over and talking about it. And in many ways, that's just as joyful as actually experiencing it in the first place.
And that's an important point. And I appreciate it. And I've learned it through my my theater friend Jeff and my director friend Nancy and Chrissy, the stage manager. It's the experience of going to the theater, and it's the experience of experiencing theater together. But then you have the story. So it's so multiple fold.
And I don't think you, I mean, you might get that with like rock shows and concerts, but I don't think you get the same if you watch a film with someone. You don't get the same.
It's more challenging. I've had that with like our chamber orchestra. There have been some things that have just like lifted me out of my seat. And then you could talk about how that works. Nancy asked, what about a tarot musical?
I saw that. There has been one written many years ago.
Okay.
I don't think it's produced that often. I don't think, but I know that there was one, or at least one was done as a kind of repertory, sort of experimental thing. I couldn't tell you what it's called, but it'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yes. So, all right. So, tell us, start telling us your the ghost,
the stories,
the haunted.
I won't tell. I'll start off by talking a little bit about the venues that I've worked in, because I've been lucky enough to work in some London venues, and they are notorious for having very famous theatre ghosts. There's like Drury Lane, is one of the big theatres in London, that's got the man with the tricorn hats, the man in grey, who again, this is where we have to be a little bit careful, because you know, people have seen him, it has been reported, but you get traditions like if you see the ghost on the opening night, then the show's going to run and be a box office success.
Okay.
So, you know, I love that as a superstition, but then you begin to wonder, was that just wishful thinking that you saw something? I don't know. You know, it's like, and then there's a lot of other stories. I mean, I have to say, I think every theatre that I've ever been in has has a ghost story, has a ghost that resides there. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you would find that in any theatre you went, no matter how old or new it was, it would have a ghost. And I think it's worth bearing in mind that I'm not dissing it at all, because as I say, I've seen the ghost, as I'm going to talk to you about in a moment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wonder how much of that is, I don't know. I try and keep an open head, an open mind sometimes about it, rather than just go, "Oh yes, that's definitely something supernatural."
Right. Yeah, keep an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls out. So
absolutely, yeah.
Antoinette has asked do ghosts exist, or is it just energy trails? That's a very thoughtful
Really
question.
good.
We'll think about that, stew on it. So
I mean, I suppose what you could say, I mean, what's interesting is that a lot of the ghosts, most of the ghost stories that I know of in theatres aren't actually actors. They tend to be people either from the building from a different period, or perhaps people that may have worked there sort of somewhere else, or perhaps had an incident or something. But it's very rare that you get the ghost of a famous actor seen.
Yeah.
Which surprises me a little bit, because you think actors would want to haunt the theatre in many ways. But I keep an open mind about it.
Yeah. And Nancy said few people die in theaters, so I suspect it's just a sense of drama that spreads stories of theater hauntings. I think there's we all love to tell stories as human beings. So but I do think I'm not a ghost expert. Do I believe in them? Yes. And have I had experience with some of them? Yes. So all right, Richard.
Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting what Nancy said there. Few people die in theatres. Absolutely. You'd probably say there's a lot more people die in hospital, but you don't tend to get, as far as I know, massive stories. I know that hospitals, there are haunted hospitals, and particularly the older and more sort of Victorian nasty things that used to happen in them are in there. But you don't tend to find that just because there's a concentration of people passing away there doesn't necessarily make it a hotspot for ghosts, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It's like you don't tend to get that many haunted graveyards, do you? The odd one or two, perhaps.
Yeah. But anyhow, so I've got the slides up. So if you want to set us up, Rich.
So I'll just go through. So firstly, I suppose I better explain the geography of it, because it all links together a little bit. So if you can put up number 1 for us, Gerald, I'll try and explain what's happening. So in Eastbourne, we have more than 3 venues, and you can just about see them here. The one in the middle is what's called the Winter Gardens, and it was built in about 1870 something, 1875, I think it was. And that's the back of it. And where we are actually looking at is the grass of Centre Court. That's the Devonshire Park Tennis Centre. And I've talked about this before. That's where, just before Wimbledon, some of the tennis trials are held there. So that's the Winter Gardens. And basically, if you can shove up slide number 2 for me. It used to look like this. So it was as the name suggests, a palm court orchestra, like a glass house. And it would have been used all year round, heated, a lovely eating, dining, dancing experience there. So that's the main one. Now, it doesn't look like that anymore, unfortunately. It tends to be more boarded over. The glass has gone because of the maintenance side of that. And a lot of seaside resorts used to have these kind of winter gardens. They were a bit fascinated by the idea of sort of somewhere to go, something a bit tropical. And I think in Eastbourne, they used to have actual radio broadcasts of the orchestras and the bands from there. So So that's the Winter Gardens. Now, the whole complex was designed and built in around the 1875, and it all adds on together. So I don't know if you're there still. I think you.
I am.
See it. You are there. Sorry, you're hiding behind the picture. If you could have a little look at number 4 for us, number 4, because that's the Devonshire Park Theatre.
That one?
Okay. Yeah. And this all connects up with the Winter Gardens. And this was built a little bit later than the Winter Gardens, about 1884. And this is the theatre I used to spend most of my time at. Beautiful. It was gaslit. You can see it's got these Italian 8-column towers which used to hold the water cisterns in there. It's quite often used in TV stuff. It's quite often Poirot, when they filmed the Poirot stuff, was often used here. It's a really beautiful venue that holds about, I think it's about 900 people. So it's 1884. Can we just go back to number 1 again, and I'll kind of make sense of
course.
So the Winter Gardens in the middle, on the left of this picture, and you might just be able to see it. There's a little building with a green onion dome on the top of it, and just in front of that flagpole. So that's a pub, okay? And it used to be called the Buccaneer. It used to be in Victorian times a shop, and they turned it into a pub. So the Winter Gardens, and the pub, and then the theatre, the Devonshire Park Theatre, all link up, and you can see they're all in that same colour, that creamy colour there. And it was all designed to be part and parcel of this whole Devonshire Park Victorian experience. And I think they used to have roller skating in the park when that was a fad in the Victorian period. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of it. And then to the right of it is a modern, well, I say modern, 1960s Congress Theatre, which was a conference centre, but set up as another proscenium arch, and that holds about 2,500 people, and that's where the big West End shows tend to come in, and big tours and conferences. So they had a lot of political conferences there, bits and pieces. So they all connect up, and that's kind of, I just wanted to talk about that because that's the important part about it. So I hope that makes sense to everyone, and hopefully some of you may have even come across those or seen those in there. So I'm just going to take a slurp of Coke while I
and I did that just as you were doing that. So just to say, Sandra is like, this is, I mean, and I agree, this is very cool, and I am like Jilly, and it's just like, I love theaters like this. They just don't do them. Or,
Well, I mean, the town I live in, Eastbourne, I mean, yes, it's been around for thousands of years, but the Victorians came along and put it on the map. So that's why all the buildings are these Victorian kind of villas and things like that. So that's why, and that's when the tourism, because it was kind of a town that was built around people taking the waters and bathing in the sea and stuff like that. So,
and like Kristen Louise is driving, so. And
hi, Kristen.
My mustache reminds Antoinette of, I cannot say that person's name as much as I try. So, Poirot.
Poirot, yeah. It's very Poirot-esque.
Yeah. Anyhow. So, and,
sorry.
No, Nancy's in for the pub.
It's a very nice pub, actually. And because it's connected, even the pub had a ghost. It was like everything around there has got a ghost. And actually, because it's a theatre pub, because it's slap bang in the middle of 3 theatres, as you know, any pub that's lucky enough to have the actors go in for a drink afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
It was a really nice pub to go to, very friendly. So
great.
So I was. Should I continue, or did you?
Yes. No. This is delightful. I'm
okay. So if we go back to the Devonshire Park number 4 for me, Gerald. So this was the theatre that when I finished university, I went to work backstage at. Okay, and then later on, I became front of house, and part of the front of house thing is locking up the venue at the end of the night. And that's quite a weird experience because, as we've talked about, it's about the building settling down and the heat of it, and you can literally feel the building kind of relaxing there. And should we have a look inside of it? Should we have a look at number 5? Because then you can see
Yeah.
what it like. So, it's got these boxes, and it was redesigned by a famous Victorian theatre designer called Frank Matcham in 1900, who did a lot of the West End theatres, and he went for these boxes and proscenium arches, and you can see the idea. I mean, yeah, and that's the stalls, and then above us we would have had the dress circle, and then above that there's actually a grand circle. But the grand circle is really high. It's very hot and dusty. It's not particularly comfortable, and you can't see very much in there. So we didn't used to sell the grand circle very much, but we used to sell the dress circle, and the stalls were the popular ones there.
Okay.
So I was in charge of locking this venue up after the public had gone, and there was, I think, 8 to 10 fire doors. Now, fire doors you can't lock with a key. You have to put a chain and padlock around them because health and safety says you can't have any fire door that's actually physically locked. Right. So at the end of the night, I used to go around and do everything in the same way. Again, it's a ritual. So you'd start at the top of the building, you'd lock that fire door in the grand circle, and then make your way down and around. So if we can go to picture number 6, this will make a bit more sense.
Okay. That one?
So, yeah. So that's actually what it looks like with the safety curtain in. So you get a sense of how big this venue is. Like I said, it holds just under 1,000 people. And there were doors in all the auditoriums. And what I would do is lock the main auditorium doors. And then at the back of the stalls are the toilets. Come down here. And of course, I used to stick my head in and make sure that, there was no one still in the toilet and I was about to lock them in. So I did a good sweep of that building. And, what you don't want to do is find out that you've absolutely, locked somebody in the toilet and they can't get out. It doesn't go down particularly well. So the last bit I was locking up was the stalls. So I literally, where that row of seats is, I used to walk across that to the other doors to put the chains on it and to lock them up so that no one could get in. The safety curtain was also in, so there was no access from the stage because that's cut off there. And so what happened is I did all my lock up, and the last thing I would do is lock the final door in the dress circle and turn around to turn the lights off. There was the lighting box was just next to it, and I just flick a switch to turn off some of the lights in there. And so I've been doing this for probably 4 or 5 years, and I could pretty much do it in my sleep. And the night that we're talking about, it was this nice summer evening. I turned to lock the bar, and as I turned to reach for the box, I always did a kind of sweeping view of it. I saw somebody sitting in the front row seats. Okay, basically where that photograph is, if you counted the front row there and you probably counted 8 seats in, somebody was sitting in that seat.
Okay.
Wow. So I thought, my reaction was, I went down, called over the balcony. I'm really sorry, I've locked you in. Wait there, I'll come and let you out. This was a solid person. This was a solid person. They were sitting in the chair looking at the safety curtain. Okay. They had a black jacket, it was male, black jacket on, a white collar, and what I can describe like a wing collar shirt, but this was seen kind of semi from the back and semi from the side. I could work out he had darkish hair, but it was going a little bit grey. Okay. And wasn't a thick head of hair. Let's just put it like that.
Okay.
And I think he had glasses, but I wouldn't 100% swear on that one. But I swear to you, he was sitting in that front row, staring, waiting almost for the show to start. Okay. So I went down, cooled down, I'll come and let you out. I started to make my way back out of the auditorium. And I thought, I'm just going to make sure, because he didn't react, I'm just going to make sure he heard me, because Eastbourne's a bit notorious for having old people in here, okay, that can be a little bit hard of hearing. So I literally turned to walk up the steps, and then I turned back and came down again, 2 seconds, and he'd gone.
Okay.
And there was nowhere to go.
Okay. Very interesting.
Very interesting. Now, I have to say, there has always been, there hasn't been a rumor. There's been the odd tale of a musician that would haunt the orchestra pit. And you can see the orchestra pit is just in front of that front row, because there's a curtain there with a brass rail. Okay. I didn't give this any credence. They used to call him the violinist, because apparently sometimes music was heard, but this hasn't been heard of for years. Okay. And it's certainly, after locking this place up for 4 or 5 years, it really wasn't on my mind.
Right.
Okay. Woo. So I'm just going to leave you that before we get on to the next part. Okay.
Okay.
So I'd like to see what people thought about that.
Yeah. What do you think? So we have Sandra's like, oh wow. Kim is
shocked. Jackie's
surprised and is also with the ghost.
Ghosted. Yeah.
Yes. That I'll insert something that happened to me during a performance. You do dress rehearsals. And that's one of the wonderful things about having a dress rehearsal is there's still time to change it. I don't remember the show, but and in this theater, you had backstage left, backstage right, and there was an upstairs area where the textiles and things like that were stored. And Antoinette said special effects would be my hope. And then Nancy said, anytime you're alone in such a large space, your imagination runs wild, right? But
thank you, Nancy.
Haven't had that experience before. Very cool. Hadn't had it. So
no.
So during one of these dress rehearsals, I saw a kid, the age of the kids in the show, who the actors, actually up going into that space, that tapestry space where the curtains were.
Yeah.
And after each performance, and I was, it wasn't a crowded dress rehearsal, so I was watching, and then I had to go and prepare for my next thing. And at the end, I actually said, okay, somebody was up here. I don't remember who it was, but they were wearing a yellow sweater vest with an argyle or a yellow vest jumper, whatever. And you should not be out of backstage. You should be waiting in your dressing room. Stop. Don't do it. And then the stage director looked at me and said, was this person wearing a little cap, a little tweed cap? And I'm like, going, yes. And I've been trying to figure out who it is. And she's like, going, we can talk about that later. And then she quickly moved on. And that was one of the ghosts that happened upon in this theater, who follows it, who actually, I should say, follows her around to theaters. So, and it was bizarre. It was shocking. It was like, okay. So, and she said, I'm glad you saw that, because I saw him too as she was running the show, but she didn't say anything. Yeah. And I was furious, because somebody should be where they were, and they were putting themselves in danger. So anyhow.
Yeah. Plus, you've also got that thing of, I don't know if you have chaperones for children's shows, so that they shouldn't be running around and all that stuff and getting, fascinated. How did you react afterwards when you found out? Were you a bit shaken or just a bit?
I was like going, okay, that's not what I was expecting. And I'm open-minded. And I
Yeah.
simply asked Chris, and I said, so what do you do when you see him? And it's just like, usually he's just enjoying himself and he's not causing any damage.
Yeah.
He's not he's not moving anything. He's not moving
Yeah.
props or anything like that. So, but
Yeah.
so.
It's interesting because I once I clocked and the reality of what had happened, I was like that.
Oh yeah.
They had to take me to the pub next door and buy me a drink to calm me down because I was a bit like,
yeah, especially
yeah.
because you saw it by yourself.
Saw it by myself, yeah. In a, it's not particularly scary, but a big open space that's dark, or at least would be dark. A Victorian theatre. It's a little bit, yeah. But it's fine. I went to work the next day. I think I took a torch with me the next day, or perhaps somebody even came out with me the next day, but I was fine after that one.
Yeah.
So shall I just try and finish the story off because it's got another twist to it?
Ooh,
now, before I go any further, I suppose what I'm now going to say, I'm going to put a little bit of a kind of codicil in there because this could be just fantasy, not quite sure, putting 2 and 2 together to come up with 5. Plus, there could be, living relatives that I don't want to cast doubts or upset about here. So I'm just going to put this bit out here, but I think this bit of the story needs to be told.
Okay.
So this was, we're talking probably 15, 18 years ago that I saw this ghost. Okay. About 3 or 4 years after I saw the man, at the Congress Theatre, which is that brand new venue that I showed you on the picture, the other end of the park, they decided they were going to have a psychic come in and just go around the Winter Gardens and not going to the Devonshire Park, but the Winter Gardens and the Congress, because the Congress Theatre, although it's built in the 1960s, it's got some weird things in that. They have one of those old-fashioned slam door with the gate elevators. Do you know what I mean? Where you got the door that you crash with the gate, and that goes up and down in the middle of the night on its own. So I don't know what's going on because I've heard that would do that one. So anyway, so they decided they were going to just have a psychic and a group of people in, sort of the psychic, couple of psychic societies in, and they just to see what happened, to a bit of an overnight thing. And they picked up on a couple of things. One was a nasty event that happened in one of the dressing rooms in the Winter Gardens, which we didn't know about, but there's no evidence or proof about that one. And she was taken onto the big stage at the Congress Theatre. Again, there was no audience in or anything like that. I thought it'd been dark for a little while. And she said, "Oh, I'm hearing music." That's strange. She said, "I can hear music. It's string music."
Okay.
Oh. And she said, "I feel really cold." Now, most psychics will say, or whenever you have a ghost, that's a common thing. She said, "It's like bitterly cold," she said, "and I feel seasick."
Okay.
And it wasn't until I heard this story related to me, because I was still working there at the time, I wasn't actually there for this, I suddenly went, hang on a second. I suddenly realized there's a connection. Can I ask you to put up picture number 8?
Picture number 8. That one.
This is John Wesley Woodward, who worked in Devonshire Park, in the Winter Gardens, in the Grand Hotel. He was a member of the municipal orchestra, so he would have played at the Devonshire Park Theatre, the Winter Gardens, a lot of the hotels, the Palm Courts. He was one of the musicians on the Titanic.
Okay.
In fact, if you put up number 7, and it wasn't until I walked past the bandstand, there's a plaque to him on Eastbourne Seafront. And I don't know if you can see that. And he was, as I said, he was a member of the municipal orchestra, so he would have played in the local local places, like I said, the Winter Gardens. He decided he was going to go and work for White Star, didn't like it, and had made plans as soon as the Titanic voyage was over. He'd actually got a place in the Eastbourne Municipal Orchestra to come back to the Devonshire Park and play there.
Okay.
So that's what I'm putting out there. I'm not putting 2 and 2 together.
I love it. Not putting 2 and 2 together.
I don't, because as I said, I don't know if he has any living relatives, and I don't want to say that.
Sure. Okay.
But I'm just saying that perhaps the violinist wasn't a violinist. Perhaps he was a cellist.
Mm-hmm. Because, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, as I say, there we go. So that kind of makes me feel a bit, oh, well, if that is the case, then at least it's nice and warm in the theatre and not bobbing around the Atlantic Ocean. But, you know, obviously his body was never recovered.
Right.
And as I said, he was, you can look it up on Wikipedia, he belonged to a couple of the town orchestra groups and would have played whenever required in the council buildings, which the theatres were at the time, and was planning to come back.
Sandra has said his face really jumped out at her when I put the photo up.
Oh, wow.
And Jonathan Daly is here. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
Kim is
cool.
Like cool, and Antoinette is, huh.
Ha!
And Jonathan has the Titanic tarot.
Oh, another one that's got the Titanic tarot. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he's a card represented on a card there. So yeah, I know Simon.
That's an interesting thing. Is he, So I'm going to pop that up so people can see him again.
Yeah.
So
not a violinist, but then, as I said, from what I gather, the ghost has never actually been seen with an instrument apart from this music has been heard. And I suppose, I don't know, kind of a violin sounds a little bit like a cello. I don't know. I never heard the music. So, but I just thought it's a little strange that this lady picked up seasickness and coldness and music when it's a building that's connected all together with it. I don't know. Let people make their own minds up there.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris.
Chris has just arrived. Hello, Chris.
Hello. Has he been out in the pub? Because they've been open today, haven't they? They've opened up Scotland, so he might have been in the pub.
Oh. Chris, were you in the pubs? Slinging cards? So, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Now, no, I have to be honest, none of this I knew beforehand. It's not like I'm trying to make the story fit around what I said. I'm just putting it out there that that's the situation. I'm not making any judgment on this one. I'm going to let people decide what they want to believe.
Hello, the Crooks Nooks.
Hi.
So it pleases me that he's back in a place he was happy.
And was planning to return to as well.
Yes, that's exactly right. And you are welcome to lurk. So it's just nice to
love lurkers.
So, and Neem is Lord, I'm late. It's okay. Jonathan said, I think they had an image of the band. I still haven't used the deck so much. And she's asking Sandra if he remembers. Everybody is saying hello to Neem and Justin and Chris is catching up. So
hello.
There you go. Close Encounters with the Long Man.
It is.
So, wow.
So that's that, but it's just I find it fascinating, the whole experience, and then
you're welcome, Neem. Oh Lord, I'm late. It's what you do. So, so, and Nema said hello to you. Oh, and Chris has actually been working, not at the pub.
Whoa.
Not in the pub. I wouldn't be reading cards in a pub. Ha ha ha. Closet singer here. Okay. Closet slinger. Got it.
Oh,
So
I thought it was a closest slinger then. I didn't read that properly.
well, I was like going, closest, but closet. I get it.
Closet.
I get it. So
It's lovely to see you, Neem.
yeah.
Happy to see your happy faces.
Yeah. Jack, we're not doing readings, so you'll have to check with somebody else. So we're not doing readings right now. So, and so Jamie's been around too. So, but
yeah,
many of us are in the tarot closet. Okay, So, but anyhow, so wow, that's interesting.
It is. I've never really told people. People know about. Well, obviously there when I was locking up because all the front of house staff and everything. I mean, the other thing is it's one big family, the theatre, whether you work front of house selling ice creams or teas, coffees, ushering people to their seats, or whether you work backstage, it was always a very friendly, let's go and have a few beers and then let's have a few more beers after work. So it's actually, it's a really nice closeted family in many ways that way.
Yeah.
Which is what's so great about it. And it is actually the camaraderie that gets you through some of the tough moments. So
Antoinette has asked Chris, how do you hide that big deck collection, Chris? I'm just saying my deck collection is bigger than his.
I'm saying nothing.
So
I'm gonna have another Jaffa cake.
Oh yeah. Neem said she answered Jack's question without she said, when Jill gets back. Neem, that is hilarious. I missed that. Oh, that's funny.
Death envy.
I don't have death envy. That's all right. So wow. So if anyone has questions for Richard about
don't really want Christian questions, but any questions about that or anything about the theatre or anything, happy to answer while I eat a Jaffa cake.
As he eats a Jaffa cake, yeah. So is is Jaffa a brand or is it a type of cake?
Yeah, it's like a Jaffa. I'll show you these. I might have to dissect one in front of you. So it's a sponge, kind of like a Twinkie base, I'd imagine. And then it's got Jaffa orange jelly. So it's like the Jaffa orange and then dark chocolate. I love them. And as I've had my second vaccine, I'm allowed to have them today.
You are, and thank you for being vaccinated. So, because Antoinette asked if it was a full moon or a half moon or full moon. It's gone right now, so that's all that matters. It's
a new moon.
It is a new moon. So, and total eclipse with that Jaffa.
There used to be an advert for it. I think that's what you're referencing. Of somebody trying to teach their class about the moon phases by eating Jaffa cakes.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a full moon tonight, isn't it? Super moon tonight.
Yes. It's what in Scorpio? Is it a pink moon Scorpio? Scorpio?
It's all happening tonight.
It's all happening. So now I want some Stella Dora Swiss fudge cookies. Thanks, Richard. No, really.
You're welcome.
That's all right. And it is a pink moon tonight.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say I have, being involved in the theater has just been wonderful. It's just been great. And I think these types of stories, not everybody hears them.
Yeah.
And these types of things, not everyone experiences them. And Jackie has told us that there's no mooning on here, boys. So
Not tonight.
no, not tonight. No. I mean, I haven't had anything to drink. So.
No, and I haven't either, apart from a couple of paracetamol. Yeah. No, but going back to what you said, you have that whole where you have tours and theatre cast. That's the word I'm looking for. The cast where you might have like an older actor in there, seasoned pro. You know, they will kind of almost take on like a grandfather or fatherly role in the company, and will, you know, quite happily, particularly over a drink or three, tell the stories of when I was an actor and all that, you know, and that's part of the tradition of it, actually. And I think that just keeps everything going. So all these superstitions, all these tales and ghosts, you know, people, you know, and people that have, when I was working there, that would turn up. It's interesting, the younger actors, and we're talking, you know, just out of drama school, would walk in and go, I mean, you've seen what the building looked like. They would go, oh, wow. And the next question was, are there any ghosts?
Yeah.
And that with them sort of being within the building in 10 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and you know, perhaps it's a particular type of person who is more curious about that and more interested. I think it's the same way that some people are more receptive to seeing that and to be seeing things that are not explainable. So
yeah.
But
and also because, you know, they're trained to work with their emotions, and I mean, you could say that's in a lot, but I always think that acting, as well as we've already kind of mentioned, it's about repetition. It's about doing the same thing in, day out, being in exactly the same spot, in exactly the same outfit, saying exactly the same lines. And even if you're not feeling it, to give the illusion that you're 100% in it. And it's almost like, if you wanted to talk about kind of stone tape theory, it's that whole idea of just doing the same thing, literally the same thing, day in, day out. And, you know, again, it's that same kind of, as you said, that same kind of person that would pick up on stuff like that.
Right. This just makes me think about the idea of ritual and how important that can be. Because what you were doing, you were closing things up and locking them. And there's that, when you do something over and over and over again, it is a ritual.
And you don't have to think about it in quite the same way that you would if you were doing it new.
Yeah. And you can usually tell something's not quite right, and you have to start over, and then you catch something. And I think that's a skill that certainly develops. So, but yeah,
I think you're right. I think it's about having that extra level. I don't know if it's a level of thinking or unconsciousness or consciousness. I don't know, but perhaps by doing something on a repetitive level, as you said, like a ritual, almost like a meditation in a way, is that your brain isn't having to think the way that it would normally do, because it's so used to doing it. So therefore, are you able to pick up on other bits and pieces because you're not having to think about it? I don't know.
And our brains try to make sense out of things as it sees. You know, we can.
Oh yeah.
We recognize the patterns, and you know, there's a big patterned rug, and we're looking at it, but there's a small piece of lint. We spot that piece of lint because it's the oddity. So,
well, this was what's interesting about what I saw, because I can still remember now, for the few seconds that I saw it, it's engraved in my head. I could literally draw it for you if I needed to. And I was able to pick up details like the jacket and the back of the wing shirt, and, you know, the look of the person. It obviously etched itself into my brain through shock or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But nearly 20 years on, I can still remember it.
Yeah.
Like it was yesterday.
Yeah. And are you getting that because as you were telling me that, I was getting shivers. So,
Ooh,
there's
sleep tight.
do what?
That's what they always say at the end of these ghost programs, isn't it? Don't be worried and sleep tight.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. So,
No, but it is. It's that whole, yeah, those shivers, those emotions. And actually, I got a bit not quite emotional, just sort of relaying it to you, reliving it all. So
yeah. Maybe sometime we should talk about ritual. So,
oh yeah,
we could do that. We could do that for our next casual.
oh that would be good.
Let's talk about ritual and
Ritual. Had some other people.
How other people do it. So, Antoinette asked, "Did you ever ask the cards about it?"
No, I never have done.
Okay.
I did. I was working with tarot at that time, but I never thought about doing it. And to be fair, I never really talked about it to too many people because not because I was worried by people's reaction, because the people that I would have told would have understood and believed me. It's people that didn't work in the theatre would have been a bit, but what I didn't want to do is relay the story to somebody who was then going to put it in the next book about the theatre or the next tour because I was having to do quite a lot of tours of groups coming round to have a look at it all. I didn't want it to become like a touristy, oh, here's the person that's seen the Titanic ghost. You know what I mean? It's like that wasn't the experience, and I didn't want to go down that road anyway. Yeah. So,
Jackie wins for the best comment. It's a
ritual. Hashtag ritual.
There
I like that.
Oh my God.
Well done, Jackie.
Well done. Well done. And Sandra and Antoinette and Neem are talking, and Neem is like because Sandra has seen things, and Neem is saying, I would ignore. I'm not saying you should, but I'm a punk something when it comes to that. One time on a Ouija board, and I knew, nope, ignoring. So
that's the same. I've had an experience with that, and I will not touch it again.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing better. I was like, that wasn't it freaked me out way too much to actually delving down. And actually, I think about it, well, for whatever reason, for whatever a ghost is, whatever happened that night, he was quite content to be there. Why would you want to start poking about and doing perhaps a little bit more? I don't know. I don't feel like I need to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe, if you want Sir Richard and my lord and I to chat about a hashtag. Oh, here. Let's.
Do I get a card?
I get a card? Might get a card, and we'll make Chris jealous.
Thank you.
There you go. So if you want Longman Tarot and I
accept
to have a casual about ritual, let us know. So it'll be a casual, it'll be a casual.
Or will it be a ritual casual?
A ritual casual.
That's just hard, isn't it?
Yeah. So, it could happen. So,
matching Megan's. You need channeling it.
I don't know what to do, with the Megan.
I don't know what to do with that. Yeah. I think in the right circumstances, it's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know what the circumstances are, but it's going to be perfect when it happens.
Yeah. And of course.
Oh, hang on. Jackie's gone one more stage now. Have you seen that?
Do what?
Have you seen that? That's one more. That's a combination there. A recasual.
A recasual. Damn.
She's good tonight, isn't she?
Is good.
It's the full moon, isn't it?
Man, I'm like going, this is, we could, there could be lots of things. Recasual. That's good. So there you go. A recasual.
A recasual.
So, and flash, Megan's flashing long wands.
In leggings.
And, Gerald's hairy chest shirt, Megan's, and the shirt. I mean,
we might need to wait for Deanne though. Again, I kind of feel that she's the third one in this. It wouldn't be missing out on her. I don't think.
I don't know how Deanne would feel about having a hairy chest, but she might be able to do the leggings.
She'd be up for it. She'd be fine. She could. Oh, well, she's got a unitard she's going to dig out for us, isn't she?
And what was that we were doing? What was the? It was a casual unitard Fridays.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing, what is it? If you're not doing tarot readings wearing a unitard, it's not really a good reading. It doesn't.
You're not a proper tarot reader.
Yeah, you got to have your proper tarot attire. So.
Well, I'm waiting. I've got the outfit coming.
Okay.
I saw your Megan's, and I upped the stakes.
You had to up the stakes. This is like a gauntlet that I don't know if I want to pick up.
I don't think I really want to put them on, to be honest with you, when they come.
Let me tell you, I was shocked. I was shocked, disappointed, and pleased that I couldn't actually get a full body, a picture of me in my shirt and my Megan's. So, but
you say that, I bet you have, though. I bet you have.
Jackie is so quippy and one of the greatest mods.
Absolutely.
No offense to the rest of you mods at all.
No.
Well, yeah. Oh my! So and Jackie's saying she can't beat her. Oh, and Antoinette wants to know: do you have a morph suit, Richard?
I can't divulge that. No, I don't. I got you think. No, I find those really weird. Okay. I'm sorry, I find them very weird.
Yeah. Jackie wants to know if they're glow in the dark Megans.
They could be if I put some paint on them. Not at the moment, but you're just gonna have to wait, Jackie. I'm sorry. There's no spoilers. No spoilers.
Or did you get the hairy?
No, they don't make them.
They don't.
I've tried. I've scoured Asia for them. No.
That is exactly right, Chris. What would Jackie do?
What would Jackie do?
Very true.
Absolutely.
It's very true. So maybe it sounds like there might be some interest in the recasual, So, and
that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Kristen Louise just found a United in her closet.
A United?
A United. Girl, you've got some power.
Oh, is that a United? Perhaps it's a United. I don't know.
A United? Oh. A United. Is this like somebody named Ted who has graduated from college or is going to college?
Yeah, made him uni.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Oh my! Kristen said unitard.
Unitard. Thank goodness. A recasual would be cool.
A recasual. So
okay.
We could do it.
I'm bored with me by now.
But I think that's a really good topic. That idea of ritual, because that's one of your questions that you have asked me. for our Friday Live.
This Friday coming. Shameless
Yes.
plug.
Shameless plug, and tell us the time and what we're talking about, dude.
It's 7 p.m. I've got to think about this now. So is that 2 p.m. EST?
Yes.
In the blue zone,
Eastern
if you're in the blue
Standard.
zone. Yeah. So 7 p.m. We are talking the Pentacle Suit with Gerald, and then the week after it's Kristen and the Swords.
There you go.
That makes me think of a mankini, says Jackie. I've read that one there.
Yeah. I don't want a mankini.
I don't want. They should never have been invented, should they?
No.
No one looks good in one.
Yeah, and he says it reminds him of Ted in his closet, as long as Ted is from Schitt's Creek. I still have not watched that show.
I watched the first couple of episodes and I was a bit like, I see why it's funny, but
it's too late, Chris. I've seen it. Chris, aren't you a mod? You're a mod, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, not as good of a mod as Jackie, obviously. Hobbs. Hello.
Hey, Simon. Hi, Simon. How are you?
So, Simon, we're just talking about the next thing we're going to do is a casual, where we talk about ritual, and it's the combined casual conversation about ritual, which at one point was a ritual. And then Jackie came up with.
Jackie got her hands on it, and now, yeah.
Casual. Oh, I should put. Should I put in a? Yeah, it's a rich casual. So. And Kim is heading out. Thank you, Kim.
Got to give a teacher a lunch break.
No, thank you. Simon wants to know if he should be this confused. Should he be this confused?
I think I am, actually, but
okay.
No, it's fine. We did ghosts, didn't we? We discussed ghosts. We've done all sorts of things today. It was very deep. Theatre.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that'd be a rich casual. We're talking a rich casual. It's different.
Okay. So, no, Simon, the thing that I like to do is I like to have a casual. It came up with was it Kristen Louise who said it or something? Or it was a casual chat. So
chat.
To a casual. And we were actually talking about ritual, and I think ritual would be a good conversation to have.
Yes.
I would imagine people have a lot of and it's a casual ritual. It could be that.
A casual ritual.
It's a conversation that I would have with Richard about rituals. So it's a ritual, but it's going to be a ritual.
We'll have to work on this a bit more, I think. I'm getting well confused.
That's right. Yeah. Here's Sandra. It's a chat about ritual, Simon.
It is a chat about. I'm glad you cleared that one up, Sandra.
Thank you, Sandra. Everybody needs a Sandra in their life, right?
Absolutely. I still want to know about Sandra's Titanic deck. Is she going to go and get it and check it out for us?
Oh, well, you have to ask her nicely.
Sandra, nicely, could you go and have a look for me, please? Please. Please. I just want to know if it's in there.
So, but I think that would be a good chat. Let's we can talk about when we can do that, and then we'll let people know. But Simon,
I'm glad I arrived when I did. It was all going well to this point, Simon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Sandra. She's going to go and get it because she's a poppet, isn't she? She's a lamb.
She's fabulous. So.
Thank you. I won't go to bed tonight because I'll have to look it up, and I probably wouldn't find a picture of it if I wanted to. So,
And Nima's like, they're whispering in your well, Sandra, echoing, please, 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 please. She is bowed to
So
the.
did you ever find out, going back to the little boy in the theatre,
Yes.
did you find out any more about him? Why he frequented the venue?
No, the only thing that I heard from Chrissy, who was the stage director, was that she has seen him multiple times. He's the one that she sees in the theater, and she does not think he was a character, or she thinks he's from that time period where somebody would have been wearing those.
You don't think, was it always a theatre? Was it a purpose-built theatre? Was it converted?
It was converted. So.
Okay. Because they often used to have, and I hate to use the word because it's got different connotations now. They used to have young people called call boys that used to go around and knock on the doors and say, like Scooter in the Muppet Show, 3 minutes to curtain, Mr. or so and so. But they used to have young boys go and do that. So,
yeah. And in the theater, the proper response when somebody says 5 minutes till places, the correct response is thank you, places.
Yeah.
It just simply lets the people who have made that call know that you have heard it, because if I don't hear it, I'm going to keep telling you.
Yeah.
So, but Antoinette
I
said,
used to love that because they always used to call people. They always call people by their proper name. So it would be 5 minutes, Mr. Osborne, or Mr. Osborne to the stage, please. Mr. Osborne to the stage. They used to do it like that.
Yeah.
And we used to have to do the announcements, like to get people into the seats. So 3 minute curtains. So we used to do those live, and we always used to, like, on a matinee, think, what accent should I do this in this time? The accent. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Don't Park Theatre. Would you please take your seats as the performance is about to begin? And it was like that.
Yes, or as we used to do it, it would be the how can you say get in your seats now, you people, and stop talking?
And turn your bloody phones off. Yeah.
So Sandra has said there is no separate photo.
Oh, okay.
And some of the cards have people depicted.
So, the famous ones like Molly Brown and Ismay and all that lot. I think they're on there. So
thank you, Sandra.
But there are photos. I mean, there are photos of the band actually playing on the Titanic on Google. And I mean, you have to be careful. Obviously, you don't get the film version of it, but there are photos. People more than go and check it out.
I wonder if this has anything to do with your obsession about the movie Titanic.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think when that came out. I think it must have come out about the same time. But I think I can't put the two and two together. So,
okay.
But I know that I went to see the movie a few times because I was blown away by the spectacle and the special effects of it all.
I still haven't seen the Titanic movie.
No, I mean, I don't watch it really anymore. I've never seen it. But at the time, I just remember thinking in a cinema, it was super on the screen.
Yeah, it was certainly inspired. So, but all right. So join me on Longman Tarot on Friday at 2 p.m. BST time, right?
Yeah, 7 p.m. UK time.
And 2 p.m. Yeah, 7 p.m. Sorry.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the Pentacles suits.
The Minor Arcana, yeah.
Minor Arcana. So
Minor Arcana.
but I will be trying to not use accents as I talk. What would the Pentacles accent be?
I think they're from sort of. Oh, I'm going to upset people if I say this.
It's my
From like,
channel.
from like the Birmingham area, I reckon, of the UK. From Dudley. I think of them like that.
Okay.
I love the accent, by the way, but I just think of them as being quite earthy and quite.
Kristen Louise said, when I do the swords, just know a lot of my answers will be, I have no freaking clue. LOL.
You can't use that as an answer now. We've used it.
Oh, snap. Okay. All right. My Lord has spoken.
Yeah, we're going to just keep going. I'm going to sit there like if I was teaching a kid in class, go, what's 2 + 2? And I'm just going to sit there and wait for them. But no, that's not good enough. I need another answer. Yeah, that's the face.
There you go. Yeah. So it was like snap. So, oh my. Here's a question. The 4 Harry Potter houses, what suits do they match up to?
Hang on. Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. I have no idea.
That's not good enough, Richie. I need another answer.
Well, I'd say Gryffindor's wands simply because haven't they got a burgundy colour, fiery thing? I don't think we can do that, though, Chris, because Slytherin's got such a dark kind. I suppose it'd have to be swords, wouldn't it, if it was going to be one? Yeah, Gryffindor's got to be wands and fire.
Gryffindor would be wands.
Hufflepuff. What's the other one to say? Ravenclaw.
This is good. That's an interesting question because now people are like going, swords is Ravenclaw, Gryffindor wands, Slytherin would be cups, Hufflepuff pence, Slytherin swords, Hufflepuff is cups.
Hang on a moment. In the second film, he gets a sword brought in by the Phoenix, doesn't he? Is it Godric Gryffindor as the sword? I can't remember whose sword it is. Mm-hmm. It is apparently Peter's gone, yes. So that means Gryffindor could be swords.
But aren't Gryffindors known for their courage?
They are.
So that feels more like wands, fire.
Hufflepuffs are quite down to earth. The problem is I don't remember very much about the Hufflepuffs.
Yeah.
I know they've got a badger as a shield, but I couldn't tell you anything about that.
And so this is, I just have to say, with me having this conversation, it feels like I am, it's like, I'm talking about, great mathematics equations, just because I know what numbers look like and I can read numbers. That's about what I have here. So, yeah, and thank you because Simon, because I
know Simon hasn't seen any of the Harry Potter stuff, has he? So,
well, Simon,
I don't think
you read any of the books, or
no, I don't think he has.
Okay, because I didn't read them books when they first came out. I read them later, actually a couple of years ago. When because everybody told me I had to read them, and if you want me not to do something, tell me that I have to do it, and I won't. So but I haven't seen all of the movies, and right now I know Chris is reevaluating my value as a YouTuber. So Simon has watched the first film and half of the second. Okay,
only half the second one.
Yeah. So,
to be fair, Simon, I think that's probably, if you've got no inclination to go back and do it, don't put yourself through them.
Yeah, you know. So,
but the Harry Potter, it's good stuff. But
yeah.
yeah.
But maybe that's a question you should ask Kristen Louise.
Yeah, I was going to explain it. You've got 20 minutes to explain which houses, which suit and which element go.
Yeah, please provide specific examples
from
from
yeah.
for
Relaying your answer to particular quotes from any of the texts.
Can you imagine taking one of Richard's exams?
Oh, I'm awful. I'm really bad. Yeah. I love a good test environment.
Yeah. And Kristen Louise's response: ask Sandra.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you, Chris. I heard that. So as I quickly remove it. Yes, I heard that, Chris. Thank you.
I'm trying to read what he said.
I will always see your value, Gerald, even when you can't see it for yourself, young man. Thank you, Chris. I believe you. No, I get it. But I do like Kristen's answer. Ask Sandra.
It's good.
No.
She's thought about this. You can tell, can't you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's like incredible. So, but I'm just like going, oh my. So, Regina's here, so it's probably time for us to leave.
We can do a few more minutes.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so when we have the Harry Potter quiz on my team, I already claim Chris from Elemental Cardomancy and Sandra from the Whispering Well on my team. I can spin a wheel very good and extremely well, and then the two of them can answer the questions. I'll just be the thorn between two roses. So for that game, they'll be my phone of friends. So
yeah,
I don't know.
it would get heated. Yeah,
it would get so heated. I mean, just like, oh man. Oh,
is it going to be just one whole Harry Potter quiz, or is it just a round?
Oh, I have no idea.
You're making this up. I think you should do something novel, like one round, like make something interesting out of a tea towel or something.
I'm a props magician. I could totally make something interesting out of
Yeah.
And okay, so let's take this to the theater again. Let's see,
Okay.
full circle.
Oh, I like that.
There was somebody needed. Kristen Louise said, we need some bike horns to honk to answer. So I've already claimed Sandra and Chris. So, but anyhow, yeah, make something out of a nappy. Great. No, so I remember 15 minutes before a performance that was sold out, one of the costumes went missing, was discovered as not being there, and no one could find it. So in about 15 minutes, I had to make a pirate outfit. I had to make a pirate shirt.
I bet that was easy. You just took off the one that you were casually wearing.
No, I couldn't because she was too small and it wouldn't fit her.
What about round? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What did it take? You made a shirt?
Did you just I had to make a shirt and a vest. And so I took a shirt that she had and I taped the inside of it with gaffer's tape to make it a little billowy.
Yeah.
And then I took there were pieces of old like pleather, fake leather. And she was like really pressuring me, and I finally turned to the actor and I said, "Leave me alone, step away unless you want to go on naked. I will get this done." And I got my bag of props stuff out, and I actually wove together on the side. I actually created. I had chain, and
Yeah.
I wove it together with a chain on the side,
Oh, wow.
and on each side. And then I created. I used gaffer's tape, and I used big washers for buttons, but I sprayed them
Very
like
clever.
a red, and so I had stapled them in, and I was wrapping this around, and it looked really good. The director was pleased. She was like, "Going, we're just going to keep that costume for the rest of the run," and it was like, yes, duct tape or gaffer's tape. Gaffer's tape.
Gaffer tape. Gaffer tape holds everything together.
Yes, it is
You
like
have to have a roll around just constantly on your wrist. Just,
yeah.
yeah. I
Gaffer's
was
yeah.
gaffer tape. I was in a production of Scrooge. I was actually Jacob Marley in it. And I just had the worst costume that would shred as it went through. It just ripped. And I mean, that was part of the thing. It's kind of so we made a thing about it. We put more like talcum powder so it looked like I was decomposing a bit more. But it was a hideous production because it was the production I found out that I couldn't sing. No, it was the production I found out I couldn't sing. And secondly, I can't keep to music if I do try and sing. And I had a solo to do in this one. It was the worst experience of my life. And then just when you thought it couldn't go any worse, they actually got Jacob Marley's chain, but they actually made it out of proper metal. So I had like, yeah, I was like weighed down by this bloody chain link that was probably about 10 meters long, that weighed a ton. And I was supposed to perform in this shredding. Do you want to see a picture? Do you want to see a picture of it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Bear with.
Well, Naomi is here. Hello, Naomi. We are just wrapping up with some silly talk, and there will be oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm going to embiggen you.
There's me singing there as Jacob Marley. Look at that. You can see what I mean. That was all solid metal chain.
Oh my gosh.
And that's why my last ever performance, never performing again.
Yeah.
Swan song.
Well, that was lovely. Oh, and he's having a Jaffa cake to calm his nerves.
I know. Brings back too many memories.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us very much, and you can watch the playback to know. Okay, everybody's like, oh wow and wow, so cool.
Thank you.
So just to be clear, when there's the Harry Potter challenge, Chris from Elemental Cartomancy and Sandra from the Whispering Well are on my team. So, and
I'm not taking part.
What?
I'm not taking part in that one.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Is it for charity? Don't need to be doing it if it's not for charity.
And so Sandra be on call in 2 weeks for the conversation about swords. Because, when Kristen Louise is asked the question about, what Harry
Potter book legends,
relates to swords, you can be ready. So
yeah.
Anyhow, well, I am on tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am answering questions that people asked me a bit ago. And so if you join in live, you can ask me more questions. It will just be my big face there.
That's exciting.
Ooh, it's a team of 4. I claim Debbie, Aquarius Al on my team.
So. You can't just claim people like this. That's not. It's got to be like. It'll have to be like like at school we pick your teams.
Oh, great! See, and if this were to happen, I would be the last one picked. I mean, my wand is great, so I can be a good cheerleader.
You could.
So, anyhow, join me live tomorrow as I answer your questions. I've got some questions that people have asked. I've actually got them written on cards so that I can be ready. And then I'll answer questions in the chat. So I appreciate that. And then I'm working on what's going to happen after that, where there's going to be, I have a guest planned for another You Show Me Yours and I'll Show You Mine. So if anybody would like to do that, send me a message, send me an email. So, all right, everybody, thank you very much. This is wonderful.
Bye.
All right, bye.